Today's video, I'm going to be walking through my 5 million coin SBC fodder investment. So just before the video does start, a quick little ad on a trading service I offer over on Twitch. For the cheapest premium trading service for just £4, €4 or free with Amazon Prime. You'll get yourself daily trading and investing guides covering both Xbox and PlayStation with an array of different techniques depending on your budget. I've been trading for over 10 years, making over 100 million on multiple titles, and recently making over 10 million in the first month for the last 3 years. So first off, let's talk about why are we buying SBC fodder, especially why are we buying on a Thursday and a Friday pre 6 PM, because obviously normally we buy our SBC fodder a little bit later in the week. That can sometimes be a Friday evening or a Saturday. Well, the main reason is because this week there is no promo, in terms of there is nothing in packs, unless in the next 6 hours something is going to go and get leaked. There is nothing in packs. Well, if there is nothing in packs, then the incentive to open packs is low. If the incentive to open packs is low, the resupply and the replenishment of fodder over the weekend is going to be low. So as a result of a low replenishment, it means that it's kind of like, imagine that toilet paper was very rare, and then next week we had the World Curry Eating Contest. Well, toilet paper is going to be so in demand after the curry eating contest for obvious reasons, but it's already in very, very low supply. That means it just becomes very expensive because it's very rare. Well, the idea is the same is going to happen with fodder. And that fodder is very rare this week, but next week we're about to go into a week where there's potentially even more demand, yet there's going to be no increase in supply. And that is going to come in the terms of the Showdown promo. Now, the Showdown promo is where we get 2-player SBCs every single day for the next 7 days. That is on top of icon SBCs, that is on top of upgrade SBCs, and so on. Which therefore should mean that we should have a lot of demand for the SBC fodder, yet no resupply. Already that so far leaked next week, we've got a Christian Solar Kolasinac SBC, we've got ourselves. There are a few upgrade packs, but these are looking likely to be promo packs, but once again, all untradeable, not resupplying the market, plus some of them might even come out as a SBC. We've got the Drogba SBC, which means we already know that they're starting to re-release Icon SBCs, which is something we haven't had for about 2-3 weeks now. We've got a Weghorst versus Harvey Elliott, two of the biggest teams in the UK. Therefore, obviously, normally quite well demanded despite the price. What else do we have leaked? I believe there's also a La Liga one with Dani Ceballos and Molina. Don't think this SBC is very well demanded, but with the PSG and the Prem ones, I do think already we know 3 out of the 7 ones we should get this week, and they're not too undemanded. So, we know that we've got ourselves some well-demanded SBCs. We know that there's going to be no packs basically being opened, especially tradable packs, because there's no promo cards in packs. It's going to be a week of SBCs. On top of that, last week, no Icon or Hero SBC. Now, is that because they expect, maybe Icon or Hero SBCs this week, and the fodder is going to become quite expensive, so maybe they try to let fodder breathe? Who knows? But it is quite interesting that we did have no Hero or Icon SBC, despite having them for practically the last 3 months. So hopefully this builds a really nice case to go and buy SBC fodder. I'd say actually something else before I even start moving on to the SBC fodder is that we are actually seeing all-time highs of SBC fodder. Now, some people have gone to me and they've gone, well, doesn't that mean it's more risky if there's all-time highs? I would say be risky if you thought there was going to be players in packs this weekend, aka incentive to open packs, or 2, the SBCs this week are just not going to be demanded. So you can either gamble on there being a heavy increase in supply or no increase in demand. But I wouldn't go for that, because I think they're unfavourable outcomes, and I don't personally invest in unfavourable outcomes. So why is SBC fodder hitting all-time highs good then? Well, the reason that SBC fodder hitting all-time highs is good is because it's starting to show a real rarity of this SBC fodder. Well, no more than a month ago, 83s were 900 coins. Well, last week they hit up to 3k, and I think it was just on Friday they even hit up to, not Friday, was it Wednesday? They went up to 3.7k, which is an all-time high we've seen 83s. 84s I don't think we're seeing so much of an all-time high this week. No, I think we kind of almost have. Got up to 5.7k previously. Now obviously we're looking at hour to hour, but it's still quite impressive if I'm not wrong. Up to 5.7. So we've seen them re-hit the all-time high this week. So we know that 83s have hit an all-time high. We know that 84s have hit an all-time high. 85s haven't hit an all-time high because they haven't been needed for upgrade SBCs. 82s have hit an all-time high. And that's because the amount of SBCs that are requiring low-rated teams, despite being demanded, is pretty decent. Whereas anything that needs 85 plus teams is less demanded because the SBC is more expensive and therefore not so demanded. Now what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you guys what I think is the best SBC fodder. I'm going to show you guys what's the best SBC fodder by showing you the cheapest solution of 83s, another 83, an 84, another 84, a 85, an 86 and an 87. Now the reason I've gone for multiple 83s will basically just back up and show you guys that there is consistency in what's being needed in these cheaper solutions, and it's, you know, not that the cheapest just is using 83s and 84s and then the next cheapest is using 85s and 86s. So the way I've got the cheap solutions is the most recent SBCs. That's because they're the most competitively built SBCs, therefore I can be happy to say that yes, that's the cheapest way. So let's start with the 83s. The 83s need, and the relevant ratings are 184, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 83s. So 184, 7 83s. 83 is most prominent right there. Next one of these, 184, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 83s. So 2 84s, 5 83s. 81s you could look at, but you've got 82s that are still very cheap, so I probably wouldn't. We then move to an 84 rated squad. That needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 84s. It needs 1, 2, 3 83s and 1 86. We then move to the other 84 rated squad that needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 83s. It's using 1 85 rated in form and then 1, 2, 3 83s. We then move to the 85 rated squad and it needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 83s, and then it uses 1, 2 84s and then uses 1, 2 87s. Sorry, 1, 2, 3 87s. We then move to the 86 rated squad and this uses 1, 2, 3 83s. It uses 1, 2, 3 84s and it uses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 87s. And finally the last squad we're looking at is 87 rated. This is because very rarely we're going to have an SBC that needs an 87 rated or higher squad that's going to be demanded unless it's an icon SBC, but it's also just to kind of hit home with the ratings. An 87 rated squad, the cheap solution is using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 83s. It is using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 88s. So the observant of you will be able to see that what was very heavily used was 83s, 84s, 87s, and 88s. And 88s only really came into play in the last one. So it's 83s, 84s, and 87s. So we basically can see that there's not really much demand for 85s and 86s because they're just not good value for money. Which means that we like the looks of the 83s, the 84s, and the 87s. Now, 85s have done very well in the past, but 85s do rely on having the specific requirement of minimum 185, minimum 285s, because otherwise they're just not good value for money. I think this comes down to the price or the increment increase and how much it costs. Sounds confusing, let me just explain. So to go from an 82 to an 83 is 1.2k. To go from an 83 to an 84 is 2k. But to go from an 84 to an 85 is 8k. Whereas to go from an 85 to an 86 is back to being 4k. So you see how it's kind of like the black sheep in terms of it's so much more expensive to increase the rating by 1 there, whereas if you increase 1 rating after that, it's a lot better value for money. And then 86 to an 87 is 4k. So the increase between this rating and this rating and this rating and this rating are the, well, give or take highest, which is why they're just not good value for money fodder, unless they specifically require them. So we'll go back to what ratings we use a lot. We see the 83s, the 84s, and the 87s. Now the 83s and the 84s I think will perform the best because cheap SBCs are completed more than expensive SBCs. You know, upgrade SBCs are completed a lot more if they're cheap. Player SBCs are completed a lot more if they're cheap. Whereas if they start requiring 87s, obviously, you know, I think the lowest rated squad in the 87 was an 85 rated squad, which means the SBC at minimum is going to be 90k. Normally an 85 squad is normally paired up with something lower, so it'd be 120, 130, which still isn't too bad. So my conclusion to this is I'd recommend 83s and 84s. I personally have gone and bought 84s. Interesting enough, I've bought 84s of Di Maria just because he got the Champions League Man of the Match, just in case they do go and release him in packs. But I've actually invested in 84s specifically that weren't in packs last week, because my theory is that Canales had a Team of the Week last week, which means that his gold card has only had supply from Wednesday till Friday, whereas the others, obviously, that have been in packs all last week. So I've gone with Canales, I've gone with Ben Yedder, and I've gone with Vahalovic. They're all back in packs now, but because they were out of packs all last week, and I don't think many packs have been open, I can see them doing slightly better than the next 84, which they're the same price of. So I personally invest in 84s. 83s and 84s I think will do as well as each other. It's just 83s I have to buy like double the amount of cards, and when you're buying 5 million, I can't be bothered for that. Now, 87s I think are the best if you don't want to buy loads of cards. They'll also perform a lot better with an Icon SBC. Likewise, 91s aren't too bad if you want to gamble on an Icon SBC, especially Kevin De Bruyne, because Kevin De Bruyne is out of packs due to having a Team of the Week. And I do believe there isn't much between... There you go, he's 63, these are 60. I'm sure you can snipe him at 61, 62. And I'm sure he's probably also not at 60. So, out of packs, and again, if you get an Icon SBC would be good. There is no new Icon pack leaked, but obviously it can be a player pick without it being leaked. Now, 85s are interesting because we have seen them do, pretty well. The only problem is, again, you are gambling on them being specifically required. Basically, I'd see it like this. 83s and 84s have a much higher chance of being needed. But if 85s are needed, they've got a lower chance, they'll make you more money. So basically, it's like gambling on, say, doing poker. These are like gambling on it being either red or black. These are like gambling on it being, I don't know, whatever odds there's 1/3. You've got lower odds, but you'll make more money if it comes in. And that is really all she wrote. Now, tomorrow we're going to have a video covering the Team of the Weeks that I like. Team Weeks aren't actually being used much, which is interesting. Like, if I go and use the normal data, and again, I'll cover this a little bit more tomorrow, they're just not being used much. Like, they're, 666 games. So I'm not quite sure if their data is lacking, but yeah, for some of these cards that are relatively undesigned. But that is going to be it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys more in a video where we talk about investing in the Team of the Week.